The sheriff picked a fight in a diner, unaware the man was a Navy SEAL. The bell above the diner door chimed softly as the man stepped inside, bringing with him the sharp bite of cold air and the faint smell of rain-soaked asphalt. It was just past noon, the kind of hour when the diner was half full, truckers hunched over coffee, a young couple whispering in the corner booth, and a few locals lingering longer than necessary, avoiding whatever waited for them outside. The man paused just long enough to take it all in. No rush, no scanning like a nervous civilian, just a calm, measured presence that didn't beg for attention, but somehow commanded it anyway. He wore a faded brown jacket, sleeves frayed at the cuffs, jeans worn thin at the knees, boots scuffed and old. His hair was cut short, military short, though no one there seemed to notice. His face carried lines that didn't come from age alone, lines earned, not inherited. He slid into a booth near the window, back to the wall without thinking about it. Habit, the kind you don't unlearn. The waitress appeared with a coffee pot before he even asked. She poured silently, eyes flicking to the faint scar running from his temple down toward his jaw. It wasn't dramatic, just precise. "Menu?" she asked. He nodded. "Just eggs. Black coffee's fine." She smiled politely and walked away. Across the diner, the door slammed open again, louder this time. Conversation dipped, chairs scraped. The sheriff entered like he owned the building. Big man, broad shoulders straining against a tan uniform shirt, badge catching the light as he moved. His duty belt creaked with every step, gun resting heavy on his hip like a reminder rather than a tool. The kind of man used to rooms adjusting themselves around him. Two deputies followed, laughing about something that didn't seem funny to anyone else. The sheriff's eyes swept the diner and stopped, lingering, on the man by the window. Something about him didn't sit right. The sheriff tilted his head slightly, studying the way the man sat. Too straight, too still. No phone, no fidgeting, eyes calm but alert, tracking reflections in the glass more than the room itself. He smirked. "Well, I'll be damned," the sheriff said loudly, making sure the entire diner heard him. "Looks like we got ourselves a drifter." A few nervous chuckles. The waitress froze mid-step. The man didn't react, didn't look up, just lifted his coffee, took a slow sip. That annoyed the sheriff more than if he'd flinched. The sheriff stepped closer. "Hey, you hear me?" Still nothing. One of the deputies snorted. "Maybe he's deaf, boss." The sheriff knocked his knuckles against the edge of the booth, hard enough to rattle the silverware. "I said, you hear me!" The man finally looked up. Steel gray eyes met the sheriff's. No fear, no anger, just assessment. "Yes," the man said, quietly. The sheriff smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Good, then you won't mind answering a few questions." "I do mind, but I won't stop you from asking." That earned a laugh from one of the deputies. The sheriff leaned in closer, invading the man's space. "Funny guy. You passing through or you planning on loitering all day?" "Eating, paying, leaving." The sheriff glanced at the empty plate space. "You don't look like you can afford it." The diner went quiet now. Even the grill hiss seemed louder. The man set his cup down gently. "That's your opinion." The sheriff's jaw tightened. "In this town, my opinion's what matters." The man nodded once. "That's unfortunate." That did it. The sheriff straightened up. "You got any ID on you?" "Yes." "Then let's see it." "No." The deputies stiffened. One reached instinctively toward his belt. The sheriff chuckled darkly. "You sure you want to say no to me?" The man held the sheriff's gaze. "I'm sure." For a moment, no one breathed. The sheriff leaned down again, his voice now low. "You got a death wish, old man?" His expression didn't change, but something behind his eyes did. A door closing, a switch flipping. "I've already had one," he said softly. "Didn't take." That line hit wrong. Even the deputies shifted uneasily. The sheriff scoffed. "You threatening me?" "No," the man said. "I'm warning you." The sheriff laughed loudly, throwing his head back. "Hear that, boys? The bum's warning me." He turned back to the man. "You got about 5 seconds to show me some respect." The man leaned back slightly, hands visible on the table. "Respect's earned." The sheriff's hand moved. Not fast, not yet, but the man saw it. The twitch, the weight shift, the tell. The world slowed. The man's mind went somewhere else, somewhere dusty and loud and burning. A compound wall at dawn, breathing through a mouthpiece, the hum of rotors overhead, a voice in his ear counting down. He came back just as the sheriff grabbed his jacket. That was the mistake. The man moved, not violently, not wildly, precisely. The sheriff's wrist twisted, pressure applied at a point no civilian knew. The grip broke instantly. The man stood in one smooth motion, rotating just enough to put the table between them. The sheriff stumbled back, shocked more than hurt. The diner erupted in gasps. "What the hell?" the sheriff barked. The man raised one finger. "Stop!" The deputies drew their weapons halfway before realizing they couldn't get a clean line. The man didn't flinch. "You don't want this," he said. The sheriff's face flushed red. "You just assaulted an officer." "No," the man corrected. "I defended myself from one." The sheriff lunged. That was the second mistake. The man sidestepped, hooked the sheriff's arm, and used his momentum against him. The big man hit the floor hard, air exploding from his lungs. The entire diner froze. The man stepped back immediately, hands raised. "I'm done." The sheriff groaned, trying to get up. Then a voice came from the door. "Sheriff!" Every head turned. A man in a dark suit stood there, reins still clinging to his shoulders. Behind him, 2 uniformed military police officers. The sheriff looked up, confused. "Who the hell are you?" The man in the suit stepped forward, eyes locked on the man by the booth. "Sir," he said respectfully, "we've been looking for you." The diner went silent. The sheriff frowned. "You know this guy?" The suited man didn't take his eyes off the seal. "Yes, very well." The man exhaled slowly. "Was hoping to finish lunch first." The suited man nodded. Orders changed. One of the MPs swallowed hard. "Sheriff, you might want to stand down." The sheriff pushed himself up, rage flickering. "This man assaulted me." The suited man finally looked at the sheriff. "That man is a retired Navy SEAL, 24 years active duty, multiple classified operations, and the last person you want to put your hands on." The room felt smaller. The sheriff's mouth opened, closed. The man picked up his jacket calmly. "I warned you." The suited man turned to the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience." The man paused at the door, glancing back once. "You should choose your fights better." Then he was gone. If you stayed till the end, you already know. Never judge the quiet man in the corner. This is History Time, where untold stories finally get heard.